So Martin, you took anatomy in college.
Yeah.
So you know the bones of the body?
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay. And so you know the radius is one of the arm bones?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Would you know that if I didn't tell you?
Yeah, I think I would have.
Okay. What are the other two then?
Let's see. There's the ulna and there's the funny bone?
That's humorous. This shows how sometimes we don't know what we think we know. Let me tell you why this is important. This video is on increasing our efficiency by studying what we don't know and not studying the things we do know. This is an area called metacognition. So here's a conversation I've had with students.
Dr. Oswald, I really studied hard for that test, but I still got a B.
Well, tell me how you studied.
I reread the textbook over and over again and looked at my notes, and I used my highlighter all over the place.
So I can respond in a couple of different ways. Here's one possible response.
Well, maybe you just didn't study enough.
Is that really true? Did she study enough? Let's think of a different response.
Well, maybe you need to study the things you don't know and not study the things you do know.
Well, how would I know that?
That's a great question.
So let's talk about knowing what we know. Well, it turns out that if we were to list things we're really bad at, maybe limiting screen time or not eating junk food is on that list, followed closely by knowing what we know. We're really bad at assessing our own knowledge. So why is it so hard to know what we know? Well, let me give you an example. If I say, how well do you know that the capital of Colorado is Denver? Versus, how well do you know the capital of Hawaii? How well do you know the capital of California? In the condition with Colorado, I've given you the answer, and with Hawaii and California, I've let you generate it on your own. Let's give another example. How well do you know that this animal is an armadillo? Versus, how well do you know the name of this animal? Think about that, the difference here. One is, I've given you the answer, armadillo. The other one, I'm letting you generate it. And the answer is, that's right, chinchilla. Let's go in a different direction. I want you to ask yourself, how hard is it to solve this anagram? So an anagram is mixed up letters. So try to assess the difficulty of this anagram. And what you're trying to do right now is generate the answer. So that's one condition I might give you. Imagine a different condition where I actually give you the solution and I ask the question, same question, how hard is it to solve this anagram? Well, it turns out that the only correct answer, the only way we can correctly assess the difficulty of this anagram is when we don't have the solution. That seems really obvious, doesn't it? But everything is obvious once you know the answer. So I look at F scarf and it seems obvious, it must be easy. But in fact, I'm completely wrong because I'm not given the opportunity to try to solve the anagram. So how can I use this for studying? Great question. Well, think about what it's like to go back and study for a test. Normally what students do is you open your notes, you go over them, but what's this like? It's like giving you the solution already, and now you've deprived yourself of the experience of generating it on your own. And in fact, you'll trick yourself into thinking you know things because it looks familiar. So what should we do? Blow that idea up, and instead we should close our notes, close the textbook in order to assess what we know or what we don't know. So, study the information we don't know. How are we going to do that? How do I know what I don't know? Well, the key is to test yourself, to try to retrieve that information. So how can we be efficient here? Well, there are some do's and don'ts. One of them is to use the key terms, or maybe even make your own study guide to test yourself in order to study. The second key is wait a while after learning to test yourself, because if you test yourself right away, you'll trick yourself into thinking you know things. And now the do is study the information that you can't actually retrieve, that you can't bring to mind or tell a friend or write down. The don'ts: do not look back at your notes or the book to figure out what you know, because as we talked about, that is a trap. Don't study the information you already know. Let's be efficient here. So you can use these techniques to earn that A, just like this student will do next time.